You know, a lot of times I wonder what type of person likes to watch my videos. Well, clearly it's people that really enjoy trees and want to learn more about trees. And if you're here and you've been one of my longtime subscribers and you keep coming back, thank you. I appreciate it. I don't expect to get tons and tons of people to watch this channel because, frankly, not a lot of people are really interested in trees. There's an old saying, you can't see the forest for the trees or something like that. But anyway, I like to do videos on some of the jobs that we get involved in. I like to talk about tree decisions. Why are we trimming the trees in the first place? What are the thoughts behind the actual decision making that I come up with? And it's probably one of the hardest things for somebody that's getting into the business to understand what they're doing. They get up into a tree and their boss might say, go ahead and trim that ash tree. Well, some things are really clear. Obviously, dead branches have got to come out, but learning how to read the tree and evaluate what kind of strengths and what kind of weaknesses that particular species has is what's kind of difficult. And that's where the value of this channel comes in, because I talk about lots and lots of different types of trees. You know, I'm in California where we have a Mediterranean climate. You know, sunny California is beautiful, and it makes a lot of trees available to us. We have trees brought in from all over the world, from, you know, Mediterranean climates to tropical climates to cold climates. You know, they all seem to grow fairly well here, and because of that, you're going to get a pretty good diversity of trees that we work on. You get to, and I talk about them. I talk about, you know, the strengths and the weaknesses, and you have to learn, you know, which trees break easily, which types of limbs are subject to failure, what types of cavities are really bad in certain trees, and which trees will tolerate weaknesses. So follow along with me and let's go look at some trees. So one of the trees I want to talk about today is the Gko Biloba. It is one of the oldest trees known to have survived for some 275 million years. And apparently man has only been on the planet for like 6 million years, so this is truly a dinosaur plant. But it's commonly used as a street tree in the area where I live. This particular ginkgo has got some problems. There's actually 2 of them in front of this house, and everybody in the neighborhood has got a ginkgo. But this particular tree was starting to break up, and it had some abnormalities. It had some habits of crossing limbs that were quite troublesome. There's a broken limb right there. Now, the ginkgo leaves have been used for 5,000 years in China as a medicinal herbal remedy for a lot of things, and one of them, I think it has some sort of cognitive values, but I can't remember what it's useful for. Maybe I should start taking ginkgo leaves. I am kidding there. This tree was a basket case. There were so many broken limbs up there, and I had to deal with lots of dead branches and lots of cracks and lots of problems. And that's not common on a ginkgo tree. This tree was sort of an abnormality. So I got up there with the bucket truck and I went all the way around, and I did have to make quite a few fairly hard cuts for safety. There was also a lot of limbs that were hanging too low, and the trucks were hitting them. There was one big impact down low where a truck had actually hit one of the larger limbs. Now, when I say this tree has got some abnormalities to it, I wanted to point out that there's a lot of spots where the limbs were rubbing and they were actually causing big indentations and weaknesses throughout the tree. Also, that was probably part of the reason why there were so many dead branches. But look at that. Over years, these trees' limbs were rubbing and causing damage to each other. So I did the best I could of cleaning up all these weaknesses. Every day I've got a different type of job that I've got to go to. Occasionally I have a job that lasts multiple days, but the majority of the times are, you know, single residential properties. So I'll go in and I spend one full day. And I've got the opportunity to see a diversity of different types of trees. And I like to show you guys what we have here in California. Maybe you've got the same kind of tree. Maybe it'll help you out. But just as important, you know, to any young climbers or aspiring climbers out there, or tree workers that want to get into this business, it gives you an opportunity to see what kind of things that we do on a day-to-day basis, and it'll give you a little bit more insight. I hope it helps. Now this is kind of fun. The property owner had this big limb snap on a valley oak, and he said, "Can you preserve the squirrel home?" And so this is what I did. I brought out a few shingles and I got up there and made a couple of slants to make a roof out of it. And here's some of the photos that he sent me. Here's where the squirrels are living in there. And he took a nighttime picture of some owls. I got a bit of a red eye there. Let's see if I can clean that up. Oh, much better. Time ago, somebody got up there and made lots and lots of interior big cuts and stripped it out. This tree is just too big for this location. I mean, it's still got a long ways to go. It's amazingly, this is still a relatively young Chinese elm. So here we go, tree decisions. A lot of the decisions that we have to make are based upon location and proximity to structures. In this case, we had to clear the trees away from these two homes. And while it's not the best thing for the tree, it's the only alternative to living with these giants. So it's something that's going to have to be kept up with quite often, actually. I did leave all the low sprouts in here, the interior suckers, because that did give some privacy from window to window between these two houses. It was a lot of work. I mean, the tree was quite wide, and we had to get up on the roof and work it from both sides. I did the best I could with the bucket truck. And there were some imperfections. The Chinese elm is a recognized species of tree that does split out. That's kind of what it looks like when I finished it up. It's not perfect, but you know, you do what you got to do. You know, every job has different requirements and different situations. So usually it's about learning to live with the tree. And then there's this. Quercus Kelly guy. Pretty common tree in my area, which is the Santa Cruz Mountains. And one really interesting aspect of this tree is right now it is just leafing out. It's a deciduous oak, and up until recently this tree was bare. But one thing that's really cool about this tree that I really like is the brand new growth. The new leaves come out. They're pink before they turn green. That one's just starting to turn green, but isn't that beautiful? Look at that. The upper canopy started coming out first, so that's all nice and green and full. And some of these lower branches down here that are just now coming out, pink. And if you forget to remove the tree stake, I guess this can happen. Hey, thanks for watching, and please subscribe if you're not part of my group of subscribers.